Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu wa asyhadu an la ilaha illa wahdahu la syarika lahu wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Respected to Dr. Fauziah binti Muhammad Noor, we are from Group 1 for the subject Qawaid Fiqhiyah for Business, BIMCK 2093, presenting on the topic Al-Asa fil Asya al-Ibaha, application of the Maxim in the halal industry pertaining to food and beverage.
For the next part of the presentation, allow me to introduce myself and my group members. My name is Siti Hajar binti Muhammad Idris with metric number 304309. Next to me is Nadia binti Khairul Anam, metric number 304235. Beside her is Alia Maisarah binti Zulkifli, metric number 304233. And lastly, Siti Nur Humairah binti Suhaimi, metric number 304368.
Introduction. Qawaid means something and fiqhiyah means understanding, and qawaid fiqhiyah means something to understanding. And the Maxim al-yaqinu la yazulu bil shaki means confident is not removed by doubt. And al-ashalu fil al-asha al-ibaha means as long as something is obligatory as long as there is not evidence that prohibited it. And halal starting point based on permissibility rather than restriction, and constructivity relationship between Sharia principle and scientific understanding, and prioritizing permissibility unless proven otherwise, and eliminating the complexity of modern food product. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alright, for section 2.0, my discussion focuses on the Quranic verses and hadith related to the Islamic legal maxim Al-Asa fi al-Asha al-Ibaha, which refer to the principle that the original ruling of all matter is permissibility unless there is clear and specific evidence indicating prohibition. This principle is very important because it serves as a fundamental basis in determining rulings for new and contemporary issues, particularly in worldly matters such as food, beverages, muamalat, and the development of modern technology. This maxim reflects that Islam is a religion that is flexible and does not impose unnecessary hardship on human beings. However, this principle does not apply to act of worship, as worship requires specific textual evidence and is governed by a different legal maxim. In the context of the halal industry, this maxim plays a significant role because a product is considered halal at the initial stage unless it is proven to contain prohibited element, impurity, or substances that are harmful. This maxim is supported by several Quranic evidence. Among them is the statement of Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala in Surah Al-Baqarah verses 29, which means it is He who create for you everything on earth. These verses indicate that all creation on earth were originally created for human use, which strengthens the principle that the original ruling of things is permissibility. In addition, Surah Al-Araf verse 32 emphasizes that human beings do not have the authority to prohibit what Allah has made lawful. Prohibition can only be established when there is valid evidence from the Quran or the Sunnah. Meanwhile, Surah Al-An'am verses 119 explains that matters which are prohibited have been clearly specified by Allah. indicating that anything beyond those prohibitions remain with the original ruling of permissibility. This principle is further reinforced by the hadith of the Prophet narrated by Al-Tirmizi, Ibnu Majah, Al-Hakim and Al-Bazar, which state that what Allah has made lawful is lawful, what is have forbidden is forbidden, and what He remains silent about is a form of pardon for you. This hadith explain that matter not explicitly mentioned in the Sharia are considered a form of divine pardon and therefore remain under the original ruling, which is permissibility. For example, in contemporary life, modern food products developed using new food technology are originally considered permissible. Prohibition only apply if it is proven that this product contain prohibited ingredient such as alcohol, impure substance or element that are harmful to health. This clearly align with Surah Al-Araf verse 32 which emphasize that prohibition cannot be imposed without valid and authoritative evidence. Based on the video presented earlier, it can be concluded that the original ruling of matter is permissibility unless there is clear evidence indicating prohibition. This directly support that discussion in section 2.0 which highlight al-asar fi al-ashah al-ibaha as a foundational principle in determine Islamic ruling in daily life and the halal industry.
In this presentation, I will explain Section 3, which focus on the application of the Islamic legal maxim al-asal fil al-ashya al-ibaha, meaning everything is originally permissible within the modern halal industry. This maxim serves as a foundational principle in Islamic jurisprudence and plays a crucial role in addressing contemporary issues related to food production, innovation, and certification. To begin with, the maxim established that all food, ingredients, and technologies are considered halal by default unless there is clear and convincing evidence proving that they are haram, impure, or harmful. This principle ensures that Islamic law remains practical and adaptable when dealing with modern manufacturing processes and emerging food technologies. Without this maxim, halal regulation would become overly restrictive and unworkable in today's complex food industry. Halal certification bodies such as Jakim in Malaysia, MOI in Indonesia, and MOIS in Singapore apply this maxim systematically during certification audits. In practice, ingredients that are clearly known to be halal are approved without difficulty. Ingredients with uncertain or unclear sources are not immediately rejected but are temporarily considered permissible while further documentation and verification are carried out. Only when there is strong and reliable evidence showing the presence of haram or impure substances will a product be rejected. This approach ensures fairness, clarity, and efficiency in halal certification while avoiding unnecessary burdens on manufacturers and maintaining consumer trust. Next, this maxim is particularly important in handling doubtful ingredients, known as shubha. Ingredients whose sources or composition are unclear fall into this category. According to the principle of original permissibility, such ingredients are treated as halal on a temporary basis while investigations are conducted. Common examples include emulsifiers, stabilizers, and shortening agents that may have uncertain animal origins. If later evidence confirms that these ingredients are contaminated with harm substances, the product becomes prohibited. This method prevents ruling based on assumptions, rumor, or excessive suspicions. It also reflects the supporting maxim that certainty is not removed by doubt. By applying the principles, Islamic law balances precaution with permissibility and reduce unnecessary hardship for both consumer and the halal industry, especially in dealing with modern food additive and technology. Furthermore, the maxim encourage innovation and the development of new halal product by establishing permissibility as default ruling. It allows manufacturers to explore new technologies with confidence while remaining within Sharia boundaries. Innovations such as plant-based meat substitutes, alcohol-free beverages, fermentation-based proteins, and nanotechnology in food preservation are evaluated using these principles. As long as these products do not involve haram sources, harmful effects, or non-Sharia compliant processes, they may be considered halal. This approach supports economic growth, global trade, and scientific engagement, while ensuring that innovation does not compromise Islamic values. A clear example of the application of this maxim can be seen in the 2004 fatwa issued by the 62nd National Fatwa Committee regarding the use of bacteria isolated from baby feces as a catalytic agent in yogurt production. Although the original source of the bacteria is considered mutanajis, the committee ruled that the bacteria become pure after undergoing proper isolation and purification in accordance with Islamic law. These purified bacteria, such as lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, are then used to ferment milk and produce yogurt. This process is classified as al-intiqal al-sahih, a valid transformation where the impurity no longer remains. As a result, the final product yogurt is considered halal. This case demonstrates how Islamic jurisprudence acknowledges scientific transformation and allows beneficial substance to be used for human benefit without contradicting Sharia principles. Finally, the maxim was also applied in the ruling on genetically modified food issued by the 65th and 95th National Fatwa Committee in 2011. The committee emphasized that Islam requires foods to be halal, pure, safe, and not harmful to humans or the environment. Accordingly, genetically modified food is permissible if it uses halal sources, does not involve prohibited materials, and follows Sharia compliant production processes. However, genetically modified food that involve harm sources or causes harm to health or the environment is prohibited. This ruling reflects Islam's balanced approach in embracing scientific advancement while safeguarding ethical, religious, and health considerations.
Assalamualaikum. So I will explain about 3.6 until 3.9. Let us begin with 3.6, which is Mats or Fillets and Eggs 2011. Let us begin with an interesting marine example, which is the sea urchins and its eggs. At first glance, many people feel uncertain about consuming sea urchins because of their unusual appearance and limited public knowledge about their halal status. However, when this issue was brought before the 1938 National Fatwa Committee in 2011, scholars examined that using the Maxim al-Aslu fi al-Asha al-Ibaha, which is meaning everything is permissible unless there is clear evidence of prohibition. After consulting aquatic aspect, it was confirmed that sea urchins are purely aquatic animals. They live entirely in the water, breathe through gills, and cannot survive on land. According to the majority of scholars, all animals that live exclusively in the sea are halal. Since there, the muzakara is a mind that there is no Qur'ani text prohibiting in the consumption of sea urchins or their eggs. So, the ruling returns to the original position, which is permissible. Move to 3.7, which is fish oil processed without removing the stomach or impurities. Next, we look at the commercial processing of fish oil, which is a product widely used for health supplement today. In theory, removing the stomach or impurities of every fish would be ideal. However, in reality, modern fish oil production involves processing thousands of tons of fish, making it extremely difficult to remove one by one. When the issues was discussed in the 170th Fatwa Muzakarah 2015, scholars consider both classical fiqh opinions and current industrial realities. Some of scholars such as Ibn Hajar, Ar-Ramli and others agree that anything in the stomach of a small fish, whether blood or impurities, is pure and can eat. So, more importantly, Islamic law does not aim to impose unnecessary hardship, masyaqqah, based on scientific assurance that the processing follow strict hygiene and safety standards and considering the significant health benefit. The Muzakarah agreed that besides the fish oil process in quantities involved thousands of tons of fish without removing the impurities, fish oil is pure and halal to eat. Here we see how Al-Aslu fi Al-Asha Al-Ibaha work together with the principle of its taysir to ensure that Islamic ruling are realities and benefits. Okay, let's move to 3.8, which is determining the status of beverage containing alcohol traces. Alcohol is often a sensitive topic in a halal discussion. However, not all alcohol is the same, and not all presence of alcohol leads to prohibition. Many of everyday foods and beverages such as bread, soy sauce, vinegar and also vanilla extract naturally produce trace amounts of alcohol through fermentation. According to Malaysia Fatwa Authorities and JAKIM, beverage product without the intention of creating intoxicants and less than 1% alcohol from non-khamar are considered permissible. By applying Al-Aslu fi Al-Asha Al-Ibaha, scholars avoid blanket prohibition that would unnecessarily restrict consumers. Instead, decisions are based on the intention, effect, and scientific evidence, ensuring balance between fatwa, sharia, compliance and real-world consumption. 3.9, which is genetically modified food and biotechnology. Finally, we turn to one of the most modern challenges in the halal industry, which is genetically modified food and biotechnology. Genetically modified foods, microbial enzymes and lag-growth protein were unknown during the classical time. Therefore, Islamic law relies heavily on legal enzymes like Al-Aslu, Al-Asha, Al-Ibaha to assess them. These enzymes, genetically modified foods, are considered halal by default unless first, its genetic material come from the haram sources such as pigs. 2, which is the product is harmful to human health, or 3, which is the production process violates Sharia law. For example, microbial enzymes used in cheese production are halal if the microbes are not derived from haram animals. Similarly, lab-grown food production may be permissible if the sources, cell and growth mediums comply with Sharia requirements. This shows how Islamic law is not anti-science but instead provides a structured, ethical framework that supports innovation while safeguarding religious values.
The conclusion, the Maxim Al-Ashu fi Al-Asha Al-Ibaha, everything is permissible unless clear evidence provides it otherwise. And the principle adapts halal ruling to modern food technology development. Then promote easier and prevent hardship, align with Sharia objective. Then protect consumer from confusion through evidence-based halal assessment. Finally, to support certification, innovation and compliance within the halal industry. Thank you.